okay?
Just right.
Is it
Okay.
okay? Thank you. Thank you.
Very well.
Yes, thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome all attendees. Welcome for our new session, and I hope that you will get benefit from it. I am Shawqia Hawawre from Palestine. I welcome you all. First of all, I welcome Mr. Mustafa from Egypt, our guest speaker, who will talk about a new and a very fruitful topic, and it is titled Let's Talk English Fluently. As you know, speaking is a very important skill in English, and now he will train us and give us fruitful information about how to talk English fluently. Okay, but before that, let's share this short video, and I hope that you will be interested with it. Okay.
Some days I'm treading the water and feel like it's getting deep. Some nights I drown in the weight of the things that I think I need. Sometimes I feel incomplete. Yeah, but you always say to me, oh, you say someday when we're older, shining like the gold, yeah.
Yes, thank you for listening to this short video. So, welcome another time. Thank you another time, Mr. Mostafa Zaki from Egypt, for accepting our invitation and joining us. And I hope that you will join us more and more to give us much information about many topics. I am, as I said, Shawqia Hawawre. I am an MIE expert for the third time, and I have a lot of achievements, thank God. And you see some of them here on the screen. I won't tell you about them, but you can check them here. Okay, Mr. Mustafa Zaki is an EFL supervisor, course designer, and teachers trainer at the Ministry of Education in Egypt. He is a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert, MIE, and he is a teacher educator in the British Council, NTTP. He is a STEM trainer and supervisor. And by the way, Mr. Zaki, we will, or I will invite a guest speaker who will talk about STEM next time, but in Arabic, next Thursday, inshallah. So also he is a
Sure.
Relo mentor trainer at AUC. He is an international trainer in Arab Gulf Union, AGU, for training and consultancy. Sorry for mispronunciation. Mr. Mostafa Zaki holds a Bachelor of Arts in and Education from the Faculty of Education, Alexandria University. He has a Diploma of Supplementary Studies in English Literature. He is an MA researcher at English literature. He delivered a lot of professional presentations and training workshops for more than 500 hours at different local, national, and international events and conferences. MashaAllah, great achievements, and congratulations for them. Thank you another time, and welcome our participants and attendees from all over the world. Now the floor is yours. Now you can start. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shawqia, for this introduction. I hope the time we are going to spend today is going to be fruitful for all of us. At the beginning, I'd like to welcome everyone. And the time we are going to spend today together is going to be focusing mainly on speaking English, the skill of speaking. How can we develop it? What are the problems that face English speakers, especially if they are talking about learning English as a second language. So the topic is going to be important from my own point of view, and I hope we can make out of it some important things. Okay, let's first turn my slideshow. I think you can see my screen now. Is that right?
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Yes, that's right. Okay, that's me, and Miss Shawqia has talked about everything, I think. Thank you again, Ms. Shawqia, for this. And I'd like to start my session with a question. What is speaking? If you'd like to share, please ask for the mic, and Ms. Shawqia is going to give you the mic, or write in the chat box if you want to write it. What
Yes,
is
great.
speaking? This is my first
So
question.
Mr. Mustafa needs you to interact with him because it is about speaking, so you should practice speaking and be active with him. Please write in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and talk and define what is speaking. Okay.
Any
Yes,
volunteers?
Petra. Yes, can you see the chat, or shall I read for you?
You can read it,
Yes,
please.
Petra said exchanging information. Aliyah adds speaking is sharing ideas, feeling, etc. Abrar adds a way of expressing ideas. Nice.
Mhm. That's great.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And I
Someone
see
is
someone
raising.
raising a hand.
Yes, yes, yes. From India, Tiwari.
Yeah,
Yes,
Go ahead.
yeah. Good
yes.
evening, ma'am. Actually, speaking is something can make them make other understand your feeling, your articulation, and etc. Just it is a connection between you and me that is
Okay,
speaking as we are conversing.
yes, that's right.
That's all.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you, sir.
Yes. Thank
Uh,
you.
speaking can
Thank
be
you very
defined in
much.
many different ways. Okay, thank you. We can
Yes,
define
there are
speaking in
some
many
other,
different ways. One of the
sorry
one of
for interruption. If there are some other
okay.
answers, Mr. Al Hassan adds to use a language when communicating by using its sounds. Gaziya said verbal messages to deliver our feelings. Riyam adds speak means to talk, to give a
Mm-hmm,
lecture or speech, or to use your voice to say something. Sarah adds speaking is a way
mm-hmm.
to communicate with people. Al Hassan also adds another point to convey our ideas by language. Great answers.
That's a great. That's a great.
Maybe, yes,
I do agree
yes,
with all these definitions. Okay, can you see the one on the screen right now? Speaking is the process of building and sharing meaning. So we communicate because we have a message that we want to convey, and this message cannot be conveyed unless we speak. So the process of building and sharing meaning through the use of verbal and non-verbal symbols in a variety of contexts. What do you mean by verbal and non-verbal? The, the word verbal means using voice. Non-verbal, it's other signatures and body language that we use in order to convey a message but without speaking. Is that clear? Both of them combine together in order to make speech or make speaking. Okay? So when we speak, we use our body, our face gestures, and facial expressions. This is an important part of the conversation process, okay? The process of building and sharing meaning. That's great. Another important question I want you to reflect and think about: why do many learners struggle with speaking English? Think, and if you would like to share, please raise your hand or write in the chat box. The question again: why do many learners struggle when they come to speak English? Do we have any volunteer?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The first volunteer is Abrar. She said because of the first language.
Okay, you mean the first language interfere with the second language, so they cause
Yes,
problem, okay?
yes,
I hope I understood
yes.
you.
Gazia, yes, it seems so. Also, Gazia says students and learners don't practice the language. يعني the lack of practice is the reason.
That's a
Petra
great.
adds shyness,
Agree.
shyness, shyness, low self-esteem.
Mhm.
Yes.
I agree.
Also,
Okay,
there is
what else?
another answer by
They
another
didn't used to
answer.
practice. Fatma?
Sorry,
Fatima Abdel
Fatma
Fattah says
says yes.
they
Yes, you
didn't
can
used to
read it.
practice
So
regularly. That's great.
yes.
Okay, anybody raising
Okay.
hands want to say something,
Yes,
please
Stephen.
go ahead.
Stephen. Stephen. Yes. Unmute
Ma'am, yes,
yourself.
ma'am. Actually, you know that. Yes, good evening, ma'am. You know that I'm Indian.
Good
Our
evening.
language is Hindi. Most of the students, those were, I'm a teacher also. So when I taught them, they are just, they want to be like me, but they are unable. So what I want to just give a thing that if anyone who
Mhm.
want to speak or proper English language, they need that vocabulary. So that the lackness of vocabulary interrupt them to speak the proper English, according to me. Thank you, sir.
That's a valid point. Thank you. Thank you. Who else?
Thank
Anybody
you, sir.
else wants to share? Okay.
Yes, Stephen. Stephen is raising the hand.
Okay,
Go
Stephen, what would
ahead,
you like to
please.
say?
Unmute
One of the
yourself,
reasons why,
please.
one of the reasons why students find it difficult to speak English is a lack of confidence, fear of getting it
Yes.
wrong, not knowing the
Mm-hmm.
right word to use, and they think
Yes.
they will mess up their tenses.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Okay. Here is a list of some of the causes or some of the factors that cause problems. I hope you cover them all. But my question is, I want you to look at the list and choose which factors of these apply to you as a teacher and to your student. Most of the attendees are teachers, as I think. So when we come to teach our students how to speak English, we face some obstacles, some problems, okay? And we talked about most of them. My question is, which one of these is yours? Is the problem that face you with your students? Have you got it? Please raise your hand if you need to say something or just write in the chat box.
Yes, another time, Stephen. Go ahead.
Okay?
Unmute
I
yourself,
want
and now you can. Yes,
I want to
Stephen, can you hear
encourage
me?
okay, I want to encourage my dear colleagues to share, to participate, to talk, because it's speaking. Please take the step forward and take the mic and say something. It's very important to share. I think Stephen lowered his hand, but uh,
Yes, sir. May I?
okay, go ahead.
Sir,
Yes,
may I share?
yes.
Actually, ma'am, when I taught that, so some are
Most
facing
of
the
them.
problem of pronunciation. That is basic. Second thing,
Mhm,
they have lack of confidence. That's why they are, because they knew that word, but while suppose some
mhm.
adverbs are there and some keywords that they need to be practiced. So the practice skill is less. That is also the reason their parents also, if the child don't understand that word, he don't want to pronounce. So these practice, lackness of practice,
Okay,
that pronunciation problem, and one that sometimes they wants to be show in the classroom that yes, I know that, so they don't want to read because we are not
okay,
forcing a kid to be read it out. So those who are interested only, we encourage them. So these things are, sir. I actually, as a teacher, being a teacher, I'm facing.
okay.
can you fix your
Thank
voice,
you so much.
please? It
Thank
is
you.
not so clear. Can you fix
Thank
your
you, sir.
voice, please, another
Well,
Thank you,
yeah.
time?
sir.
Yes. Thank you. Yes,
Yes,
Stephen,
I,
go
I
ahead,
think there's
please.
some kind of issue with the audio. Yes. So we have
Okay.
some factors.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay,
Can I go ahead?
go ahead,
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
please.
From the list you brought out, I want to um, uh, say that you've done a very great work by pointing out all these lists here. For me, what I've noticed in my class is that number two, fear of mistakes.
Hmm.
Number shyness, fear of mistakes, shyness, fear of criticisms, and lack of
Hmm.
confidence. That's why
Okay,
most students don't use English in the class. So
I thank you so much.
to correct it,
Okay, thank
whenever I start teaching a new class, I will tell them that
you. Okay.
nobody is permitted to laugh at a student that didn't get a word right.
Mhm.
Because when you laugh at someone,
Yes.
most students will not speak again. So I make sure I issue it as a
Hmm.
class rule in my classes that no student laughs at another student that pronounces a word or gets an answer wrongly. By so doing, I've opened the door for everybody to speak without being afraid of failing it, without being afraid of criticisms, or without being afraid of making mistakes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. My next question is, does anybody of you want to add, do you want to add any other factors that is not in the list? Would you like to include anything else? We have lack of speaking practice, fear of mistakes, lack of words usage, and grammar practice, low motivation, low participation, reading laziness, shyness, less dictionary usage, nervousness, fear of criticism, unfamiliar words pronunciation, lack of confidence, lack of general knowledge. Speaking usually requires us to combine multiple skills. You know that when we speak, we need to listen and we need to think. So we need to produce something. So it's not that easy skill. It combines other skill, I mean. So a lot of people say that speaking is hard, and that's why many people believe that it is hard because a lot of people say that. So we need to think together how can we make it easier. Okay. And another important factor that makes pronunciation is not the focus for most teachers is that education system in most countries does not focus on teaching pronunciation, teaching speaking, teaching listening. They focus on written tests. They focus on standardized tests, education requirements. They need to get marks and pass with grades. So students focus on how to get grades and they neglect listening and speaking. Do you agree with me in this? Of course, we are from
I
different countries,
sure I do. I agree with you on
but
this. I'm using Nigeria as a case
yeah,
study.
Yes.
I'm talking generally. Most education system in most countries do not give speaking and listening the due attention and care.
You're right. I agree with you on
Okay,
that.
okay, thank you. Let's dive into the most important part. What are the ways that we can follow to improve our spoken English? Okay, do you want to suggest any way, any activity that we can do before we go to the next slide?
Yes, Miss Fakiha, please go ahead. Unmute yourself and you
I,
can
I
begin talking. Fakiha,
okay,
open your
I'd like
mic.
to encourage more of our participants. Please take step forward in your speaking learning career. Please take the mic and say something.
Yes, Miss Fakiha, can you hear me?
Yes,
You
yes,
can op
yes, I'm
Yes,
here.
please go ahead.
Okay. Do you have any suggestions, Fakiha, about how to improve speaking skill?
I think speaking is more important, and the most important thing to improve speaking is to listen more and more. It will help to
Excellent.
speak and to read many text stories, novels, but it will be difficult for little children. But we can say to read even short stories and texts. It will improve their speaking and to help them to speak and to avoid their fear and their shyness. It will help
Thank you.
them to speak.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Thanks.
I thank you. I agree with you. I'd like to read some of the sentence written in the chat box. Singing is in that and watching movies. I agree. A professional guide, if you mean someone to teach you or to help you speak, that's a good point. Listen and speak and repeat. That's great. What else? And um, practice. Okay, practice makes perfect. Practice shadow speaking per what? Uh, okay, shadowing means to listen to native speaker and watch how they speak. What are the organs they use and how the facial expression goes on while speaking. Okay, many wonderful ideas. By trying to use it every day, I do agree. Our interaction with native speaker, if we can, by using the modern technology, that's great. Okay, I don't think you need me to say something. You said everything. That's great. What else? I think that's all. Let's go to our next slide. As you have just mentioned, and I'd like to thank you all for this participation. Number one, you need to expose yourself to English. What we mean by exposing ourselves, to get involved, okay, to get engaged in learning English, speaking, you know, just make yourself talking in English most of the time. So this is the first bit of advice. The second one, work on your pronunciation. What makes us comprehensible or understandable is pronunciation. So if we mispronounce words and if we know not how to connect words together, I think other people listening to us will find difficulties in understanding our message. They will not be able to code or decode what we want to say. So please, we need to work on our pronunciation. Of course, every one of us mispronounce words. Even native speaker, if you know, native speaker themselves have difficulty in pronouncing some words. They mispronounce it. Okay? So don't feel shy, don't feel embarrassed at all to learn pronunciation, to practice pronunciation. This is the way for all of us. Another important thing is to make the most of technology. I think one of our colleagues said talked about technology. And by the way, I posted here two links, as you can see. The first one is Wiklet, and this is a very important link. In this link, you will find a lot of applications, a lot of websites that can help you improve your pronunciation, improve your speaking, improve your skills. Okay, so even listening and the grammar skills will be included. So this Wiklet is very important for most of us if you want to know what are the most important websites, what are the most important applications that can help. Okay, and here another link. It's called Phonetizer. For those who are interested in knowing about transcription and how the words in English are transcribed, you know, if you consult a dictionary, you will find words written in a transcription way. Okay, so this website is helpful in this. Another important bit of advice is to learn whole phrases. Okay, we don't need to focus on single and individual words. We need to focus on phrases because English is a connected language. When we say it in a phrase, not separate words. So please, when you come to learn, focus on learning phrases, not just separate words, okay? Another important thing, don't focus too much on English grammar. A lot of people think that knowing about grammar, learning grammar will make it easier for us to speak. And that's not the correct thing, or that's not the right way. I think we need to focus on how to communicate and allow yourself to make mistakes as much as possible because your mistakes
So,
is going to be.
sorry. So we should concentrate on fluency, not on accuracy.
Yes, that's very important thing. Our aim is to achieve fluency, not accuracy at the beginning. You know, you need to be able to send and receive messages. Okay, make yourself clear and make others understandable. Okay, that is fluency. And after that, we can correct mistakes. We can find good structures, better sentence grammar or something like that. And another important bit of advice, please let go of your ego. What does that mean? A lot of people are shy to speak because they are afraid of criticism. They are afraid of what other people might think about them. So if you forget about that, you will learn better. So please don't be shy. Please don't be afraid to make mistakes. Please try and try, practice every day. This is the only way that will help you speak, listen, and communicate. Okay? And when you come to communicate with others, please don't translate. Don't form sentences in your mind. Just say it simultaneously as you feel it. Avoid translating. Some people think that they need to start by the subject and then the verb, and after that they need to use the object or the time reference, the place, adverb of something, and they forget about communication. So don't indulge, don't take yourself into a translation in your conversation because the other person listening to you will not be happy about much thinking, much stopping during speech. So try to communicate and don't worry about mistakes. The most important thing to make yourself understandable. Okay? Here is another point. Learn to speak English fluently by listening to someone speaking English fluently. You need to have a friend or someone. It's much better to be native speaker and specialist in teaching pronunciation and speaking skills, and you listen to them. Train yourself uh, a lot of times to listen to those specialists, because you will get out of them how the language is spoken, how they use intonation, how they connect words together, how they make their voice goes up and down. Because it's not about vocabulary or grammar only. There are other factors that combine together to make your speech, to make your uh, English is unique. You need to learn some other important things. I think uh, you need also to be active listener. When you come to listen, you need to focus on what you are listening. You need to have um, a way of writing or recording what you have listened to. You need to revise daily, on daily basis, your vocabulary list, your phrases, your idioms. Okay, the way English speakers say it, we need to copy them. So we need to be active listener, and we need to have just like a notebook or something where we can write uh, idioms, phrasal verbs, um, words that are commonly used in English. Okay, but when you use a dictionary, please don't use a bilingual dictionary. Okay, try to use English dictionary. Try to use voice dictionaries. Okay, make sure that you heard the word correctly. Make sure that you pronounce it well. Okay, I think one of you said something about songs and lyrics, and it's very important. And by the way, here is another link, which is so fantastic indeed. It is called Learning English with Lyrics. If you go into this link, you will find amazing songs. And what is great about this website is that you have a test according to your level. You choose your level if you are a beginner or intermediate or advanced, and then you are going to listen to a song and write some missing words. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Please try this website, and you will never regret that. You also need to record yourself, because when we speak, we cannot discover the mistakes we make. We cannot discover whether we are speaking well or badly. We cannot discover whether we pronounce the words the right way they should be pronounced or not. So we need to record ourselves. And when we record ourselves and listen to what have been recorded, we are going to discover a whole lot of things about the way we speak English. So this is a very important thing. Please record yourself and practice English. Every day you need to have about 10 or 15 minutes of practice. Okay? And you have the YouTube channels, and also you have important websites. There are many important applications that help you practice. So please set a time for yourself to practice pronunciation, to practice speaking every day. Not much time, but at least 15 minutes a day. And if you have the opportunity of joining a speaking community, a lot of people or some people that communicate in English, they speak and they have daily conversations. Please join them. Take the lead. try to take the mic and speak. Don't be afraid of criticism. Don't be shy. Take the step forward and speak it. Okay. Ms. Shawqia said something about fluency. We are after fluency, not accuracy. And we said fluency is the ability to speak English in connected way and to express your ideas and convey the message without stopping every now and then to think about the sentence or the vocabulary you need to use. And there are some important strategies for developing that fluency, okay? We will talk about three important things. If you need to develop your fluency or to help your students to do so, if you want your students to be fluent, you need to teach them discourse markers, collocations, and connected speech. These are very, very important, okay? And I don't want to take the whole time talking and you are just listening. So please, I want you to share me if you have any definition for discourse markers or collocations or connected speech. Let's start by discourse markers. What are discourse markers? If you need to share, please raise your hand or just write in the chat box.
Yes.
Do we have any
Marriott Abdo.
volunteers here? Yeah.
Yes, Marriott Abdo, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. The floor is yours now.
Yeah,
You
I'm
can
here.
talk.
Yeah, here. First, I want to support your that practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the better
Mhm.
you speak.
That's great.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
would you like to add anything? Okay, thank you. My
Not,
question is, what
but
is
I want to
discourse
ask.
mark?
Yes, I have a question about how could I have a certificate for this course?
Okay,
Yes, yes, of course. But
this
at the
course,
end, I
so
will
yeah,
send the form. Now,
Sorry.
okay.
yes,
At the end of the session,
yes,
at the end of this
yes,
session, Ms. Shawqia is going to send you a form, and through
yes,
this form, you will get a certificate for attendance, I think. Okay.
Okay,
My
many
yes,
question
thanks.
is,
of
what
course.
is discourse mark? Anybody else wants to share?
Yes, there is no answer. Someone
Okay,
said
do we
Ms.
have
Muaz wants the link for the website, please. The link for the website.
okay, okay,
You can send them here in the chat box, please.
I can
Yes,
I'll
yes,
try to copy
just
it.
here, click on the right, click on the right, then copy the link, click, click by the mouse, yes. Then there is copy,
It doesn't.
so you can highlight it first, maybe,
Okay, but yes, but I think
because
it's not
you
going to
you
work in
are
the in this
presenting. Yes, sorry, Mr.
yes, in the
Mustafa, you
presentation mode.
can go outside the presentation, then you can copy it. Yes, now. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
then you can copy it. Yes, copy. Yes. On the right.
and
Yes.
send it in
Copy. Then send it here.
the
Paste
chat
it
box.
in the chat box. Yes.
Okay, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Okay,
Yes. Great.
I think it takes time. Yes, now it's done.
Yes. No, no. Yes, now you just send it. Yes. Now, yes,
Okay,
it will be
we are
shown in
not
the
going
chat
to waste.
box.
Okay, let's go back to our presentation, and I'm going to post all the links at the end of the session. Okay. Okay.
Sir Muaz
And
is
this
raising
course
his hand.
markers. Okay, Moise, go ahead. Would you
Yeah.
like to say anything?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing the link and these great ideas of really practicing communicating in English. So as far as discourse markers are concerned,
Okay.
so whether in writing or in speaking, so we need to join our thoughts and connect our ideas, sentences, phrases that we use to organizing uh, our speech. So they're like
Okay.
a glue to bind your thoughts together. So and maybe there is difference. I think there is difference between spoken English discourse markers and whether and in writing. So maybe in in speaking it tend to use a kind of so like examples like so you mean you know okay so well so those are kinds of things so we need that the idea is
Okay.
that they help us for sound natural English. That's the idea. So this the second thing is
Okay, Moise,
so
can I
we
ask you something?
yeah
Okay,
yeah
can I ask
yeah
you
yeah
a favor, please?
yeah.
Can you read the definition of discourse markers here on screen?
Okay, with pleasure. Okay,
Discourse markers.
so discourse markers are words or expressions that link, manage, and help to organize sentences. So they connect what is written or said with something else. So they make no change to the meaning.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah,
so
welcome.
the words that we use to connect words together to make it a speech, and it does not affect the meaning, they are called discourse markers. Okay, thank you, Muaz. And uh, discourse markers have two types or two kinds. One is formal, the other is informal. Okay, the formal one is the linking words, words that we use to link words together or to link sentence together. Okay, and of course they are important because they make speech flow. You know the word flow, as if the water moves smoothly. Okay, when we come to write English, we have punctuation, we have starting with capital letters, we end the sentence with periods or full stops. So we have commas when we had more than one idea to be connected. But in a speech, we don't have this type of punctuation. So we need to use our voice. We need to use our way of speaking in order to make other people get the message clearly. Okay? So sometimes we connect sentence together by using linking words or fillers. And we are not going to spend much time showing the difference, but simply linking words are the formal way of connecting a sentence together, but fillers sometimes we repeat ourselves or say some words in order to give ourselves an opportunity to think about something. Okay, if most of you speak Arabic, if I'm talking in Arabic and I forget about something, I say يعني زي شوفوا كلمة يعني زي uh, الصوت ده this is a way for myself to find an answer or to think about something. They call it fillers. So we have in English fillers and we have linking words. Okay? I want you to have a look at this interview. Okay? and tell me which conversation has the interviewee been more fluent. There are two, A and B. One of them is more fluent than the other. Can you find who is more fluent? You have just 1 minute to read A and B
B,
and answer
B,
the question.
B is more fluent. B is
Okay,
more fluent.
B, okay, but just give them a minute to read. And think about why. Why is B or A is more fluent?
A use more of speech fillers like yes
Mhm.
but B went through
Are
to
many
use speech
interruption,
connectors to answer
much
the questions.
interruption.
That's nice. Have you got that? Do you
Yes,
all agree that
yes,
B is more fluent than A?
yes, yes.
And the
Many,
reason,
many wrote B. Many wrote
yes,
B in the chat box.
and and what is the reason B is more fluent? Let's find out. You know,
Yes,
interviewing
anybody? Yes.
the
Go
words like
ahead, please.
well, okay, words like well, actually, you know, sort of, kind of, I mean, these are the linking words that we use when we need to think about what we are going to say. Is that right? Have you got that meaning? So if we think about something and we cannot say it or phrase it in a sentence, we give our brain a short time to think. So we say, well, actually, why do we say well and actually, because we need to take more time to think about the forthcoming sentences. Have you got that? And these are called the linking words or the fillers that we use. Okay? How many linking words can you count here? There are. Can you count them? Hello, are you there? Are you counting?
Easy or eight.
Yes. Six.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
wrote six. Almost six. Zainab said. Gazia said almost six. Zainab said five. Abrar said six.
Okay.
Reem said yes. Fakiha said five. Hiyam six. Abir six.
Okay, if you count them
They are
eight,
counting.
okay, if you count them eight, this means your answer is good, is right. Because we have well, this is one, actually, this is two, you know, three, four, sort of, five, kind of, six, seven, I mean, eight. They are, in total, they are eight, okay? Okay, uh, my question is, do we have fillers and linking words like this in Arabic? If you are, if your first language is Arabic, can you give me examples of linking words or fillers in Arabic? Please raise your hand and tell us an example.
Miss
Have you got
Abrar
the
said
question?
yes. So please tell us, Abrar.
Say it in
Can you
Arabic.
mention some
What are,
examples?
Yes, hello. So in Arabic
yes.
Hello.
we have في الواقع في الحقيقة.
Allah ينور. جميل. Yes, that's great. What else?
Yes, Abir, go ahead, please. Iman said عارف. شايف مثلا
Uh-huh.
ممكن يحكي عارف شايف.
I did. Mm.
طل طل إحنا عندنا
Yeah, that's
فلسطين طل.
what does call.
سمر سيد. في الواقع في الحقيقة طبيعي
Mm.
طبعا أعتقد. ميرفت سيد
Okay.
أصلا. زينب أدز حسنا. خلي بالك ميرفت. يس نعم
Mhm.
بالطبع في الحقيقة من المؤكد بالفعل. طيب
Mm.
خدتي بالك متولي. خدتي
Yeah.
بالك هي مصرية خدتي بالك. عبير
Yeah. خدت بالك.
بل.
Yes.
آه، فكيهة بالتأكيد بصراحة لا أخفيك سرا. بترا.
Mm.
they are in that to even in German حتى بتحكي they are found in German. إكرامي سيد لقد.
Yeah.
سمر adds افهم فهمني. إكرامي absolutely.
Yes.
عبير الزهراني
You are great.
ثم
Thumbs
yes
up. Thank
طبعا
you. Thank you.
زينب. Yes.
Thank you. And my next question is, do you think using fillers and linking words is a must in speaking any language, or we need to drop them? This is my next question. Do you think
We
it is
should
important to
drop them. We should drop
drop
them. Yes.
or drop them at all, or we should use them very little? Because I
I think
think,
very little.
yes, because we cannot drop them at all. We cannot go
Of
without, because
course.
we need to give our brain a break to think about the next idea or what is going to be said next. So my next question is, in order to improve and develop fluency, you need to give attention to collocations. And what is collocation? Would you like to share? Have you heard the terminology collocation before? Collocation.
Yes. Yes, as it is mentioned here in front of us on the screen, words that
Yes.
naturally go together. Collocation is not
Excellent.
determined by logic or frequency, but it is arbitrary, decided only by linguistic convention, as Lewis said in 1998 in implementing the lexical approach.
Okay, thank you. You know that when we have two words or more words connected together to form a phrase or an idiom, they are collocated together. Collocated means they are joined. They always seen together. This is called collocations. And it's a very important study in English. We need to give due and more attention to collocations because it helps you to speak naturally. It helps other native speakers to understand what you say, and you can understand them because they sometimes connect things that for us it doesn't look logical. You know, we have in Arabic when it is raining heavily, we say الدنيا بتشتي زلط. Have you heard something that if you are Egyptian, بتشتي زلط? The word zalat has nothing to do with the rain, but it gives the collocation or the donation, the denotation of the meaning that it is raining heavily. The same thing happens in English or in other languages. There is some cultural part of the language that we need to know about. So please, while you are developing your fluency, you are working on your pronunciation and connect speech, please don't forget collocations. Okay? And collocations could be weak or strong. And what is meant by weak collocations? Words that can go with many other words. It's not specifically used in this term or this idiom, but it can be used with many others. For example, the word make effort. It could be used give effort or make effort or exert of effort. So it's It is called weak collocations. But when we talk about strong collocations, for example, the word on the other hand, they are connected together in this way in order to give a specific meaning. So we cannot say it other ways. Okay? Okay. And what is connected speech? We just said a few minutes ago that when we speak, we don't say word by word individually. For example, if I'm talking to a friend about yesterday's party, I say, yesterday I went to a party, I spent good time with my friends there. The words come out of your mouth connected together in a particular way to give specific meaning. We don't say, I visited the museum yesterday and took some pictures and I enjoyed myself and had lunch with a friend. We don't say it word by word. Have you got me? So if you want to sound natural in your speech, you need to connect words. You need to make them as if they are a string or a thread. You know, عارفين العقد؟ كل حبايه في العقد ماسكه في اللي جنبها كده. This is the way people speak. Even it is Arabic, English, German, French, whatever. أي لغة في العالم, the words come connected. Okay? تخيل كده في اللهجة المصرية لما أقول لك إيه؟ تعال اشرب شاي. تعال اشرب شاي. أنت بتفهمني وأنا بفهمك على الرغم إن هي كلمات لزقت في بعضها وأصبحت مختصرة. هي أصلها تعالى اشرب شاي. لما تتقال تعال اشرب شاي اهو ده الكونكت سبيتش. All language connect speech. جميع اللغات اللي في العالم مش بيتكلموا word by word. They connect words. And one of the biggest problems that face learners in English, معظم احنا بتقابلنا اكبر مشكله how to decode connect speech, how to understand what they say. انا مش عارف هم لما لزقوا الكلام في بعضه انا مش عارف افسره. And that's why some people think speaking is difficult. Some people think that listening is difficult because they cannot decode the connected speech. Okay? So what is a connected speech? It is, speech is a continuous stream of sounds. You know, انتوا عارفين مية النهر كده ما فيش شوية مية بينفصلوا عن الباقيين, هي كلها continuous stream of sounds without clear cut border lines. ما فيش أي تقطعات, ما فيش أي حدود between them. And the different aspects of connected speech help to explain why English is so different from spoken English. اللي هيعرف الكونكتد سبيتش هو اللي هيعرف يتكلم كويس, هو اللي هيعرف يسمع الأجانب كويس. So what is that native speakers do when stringing words together that causes so many problems for students? طب يا ترى هم لما بييجوا يعملوا الكونكت سبيتش ايه المشكله اللي بتحصل في كلامهم بتخلينا احنا ما احناش فاهمين that make a problem for our student? Basically there are four aspects. هم 4 حاجات بيحصلوا لما الاجانب بييجوا يتكلموا. There are 4 important things that happen we need to understand, we need to know about in order to get the meaning of connected speech. Number 1, elision, linking, intrusion, and assimilation. They are 4 features of pronunciation, but we are not going to talk about them today because we are talking about speaking, not pronunciation. But just a hint, انا بس بدي لحضراتكم اشاره, هو الكلام انا بيتنطق بطريقه بس لما بيبقى جمله على بعضها الطريقه بتختلف. Yes, because there might be elision. ممكن يحصل نوع من الادغام يعني في حرف ادغم, or linking او في صوتين اندمجوا في بعض, او intrusion في صوت زاد دخل زياده, حصل نوع من الانتروجن, في صوت جديد دخل لما الصوتين دول اتجمعوا مع بعض, او الاسيميليشن لو في صوت جه جنب صوت بيحصل تشينج. فطريقة الكلام بتتغير. So we need to learn about elision, linking, intrusion, and assimilation. And if we have sessions to come, inshallah, we can talk with more details about what is elision, what is linking, intrusion, assimilation, contraction, and short forms. But let's go directly to our main topic today, which is the speaking activities that we can go with. Okay, my first and my favorite activity to help my students speak is called scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunt. Have you heard about this game before?
No.
Does anyone have any
No.
idea? Would you like to guess
Yes,
what is scavenger?
Petra said yes. Can you
Okay,
give us some information about it before Mr. Mustafa tells us? Mr.
Yeah, hi.
Petra.
Yeah. It's asking about information to get to another piece of information, so they come to a cross a solution, probably.
okay, you are very close. You know, scavenger, the verb scavenger means to search. معناه ان انا بدور على حاجه. hunt. بعمل عمليه بحث او مطارده. This game is very good activity in order to encourage your students or your learners to speak English. You can hide some items in the classroom and ask students some questions and ask them to find the hidden items. And when they find one of them, they talk to other students that they found it somewhere and how did they find it and what is that thing. It can be played in many different ways. We can use it online. لو احنا مش في الكلاسروم face to face, we can use it online by asking questions just like our colleague said, and get information from my students to talk about these items. For example, I'm going to give you an example now. What is the thing that is usually worn beneath a shoe and always comes in a set of two? Can you think of something that is worn beneath a shoe and always comes in a set of two?
Socks. Many answered also this.
It's great. I want
Socks.
one of you to tell me what is a pair of socks look like and how do we use it and why. The questions that comes after finding the answer is to help learners to speak. So you need to take the mic and tell me what is that thing and what is the usage of socks. Is there any participants?
Some Miss Hanan said like a puzzle. Dr. Mutia
It's like,
adds shoe and two.
yes. So you can use the activity in many different ways to help your students speak, to talk, okay? Another example, I want you to think about this riddle or this puzzle. I'm typically used for cleaning up food. If I'm not in your lab, it's considered a bit rude. Can you think of the answer? Who can speak and explain this? I'm typically used for cleaning up food. If I'm not in your lab, it's considered a bit rude. Have we got any answers? Okay, if you can't find the answer, if you can think about the answer, you can ask me to explain or to give you more clues about the answer, you know? But you need to
Abrar
speak.
said napkin. Abrar mentions napkin, and she is not sure about that.
It's not, yes, it's napkin.
So she is right.
Sure, yes. You know, when we
Great,
come to
Abrar.
eat food,
Great.
we need to put a towel on our lap to protect us from any dirt or food. Okay. Okay. These are some other examples that might help your students to think and talk, ask questions and answer them. Okay. Okay. Another activity is called English heteronyms. English heteronyms. I want you to think for some 20 seconds. For example, what is a heteronym? Please, if you know what a heteronym is, just raise your hand or write in the chat box. Do we have any participations? My question is, what is English heteronym?
No answer.
Okay, I'm going to.
Yeah, a heteronym
Yes.
is a word that has a different pronunciation and meaning from the other word with the same spelling.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Of course, just like our colleague said, it's two words in English. They have the same spelling. They are written in the same way, but they are different in pronunciation and they are different in meaning. Can anyone give us an example of a heteronym? A heteronym is a word, two words or more that they are written, they are spelled the same way, but the pronunciation and the meaning is different. For example, who can read this sentence? But I want you to think because there is some kind of trick. Okay? So we have a sentence on a screen and there is a word repeated twice. The same spelling, but of course the meaning and the pronunciation will be different. So any volunteers? Can anyone help? I want to encourage you to take the step. Please don't be shy. Take the mic and say, make mistakes and do a step forward to speak freely.
I wound a bandage around my wound.
Say it again.
I wound
please.
I wound a bandage around my wound.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Can I participate?
Sure. We
Yes.
like that.
I want a band-aid around my wound.
Okay, thank you.
Here I am.
Any other?
I want.
Yes, Maria?
Yeah. Yes, I want a bandage around
Go
my
ahead.
wound.
Okay.
I want.
What are the
bandage?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. Thank you.
What are the two words that repeated?
Want and wound.
They are this one.
Want and yeah, and the last one is wound.
Okay. Okay. Do you think they are they have the same spelling?
Yeah, the same
Yes, they have the
spelling.
same spelling, but the
Okay.
pronunciation of it is different.
Okay. Let me explain the pronunciation and how it goes different. The first word is the past form of the verb wind, W-I-N-D, which means to cover or wrap something around something else. Okay? So if you have uh, an injury, you need to wrap a bandage. The verb is called wind. Have you noticed the pronunciation? Wind. In the present form, we say wind. Okay? The past form is wound. Wound. So I wound a badge. Have you seen the trick here? The last word, when there is some kind of cut or injury in your body, it is called wound. Wound. So the whole sentence is I wound a bandage around my wound. Again, I wound a bandage around my wound. Who want to practice with me? Who want to say the sentence again? I wound a bandage around my wound, my wound. Okay?
I wound the bandage around my wound.
Excellent. But don't say wound, say wound. Wound. I wound a bandage around my wound. Okay? Who
I
else?
wound a bandage around my wound.
Excellent.
I wound
Anybody
a
else?
bandage around my wound. Yes, sir.
I encourage
I
you
wound a
all.
bandage around my wound.
Excellent.
Great
Again,
participation. Great
yeah, we need
participation.
more participation. Yes. I wound a bandage around my wound. Wound, my wound. Let's go to another example. Think about this. It's a bit easier, but there is a trick.
Close it.
The chair was so close to the door we couldn't close it.
Excellent. Say it again, please.
The chair was so close to the door we couldn't close it.
Thank you. Amazing.
Could I participate?
Yes, say it, please.
Yeah, the chair was so close to the door we couldn't close it.
Thank you. Have you noticed what is the trick here? We have the word close and
Close and
close.
close.
They
Yeah.
are heteronyms.
The
first one, adjective,
is near.
means nearby.
The chair
Excellent.
was so near to the door we
Excellent.
couldn't shut it.
So when we need to
The
use the
second one means
adjective, okay, thank you so
means
much.
the opposite. The second
The
one means
verb
the opposite of
open. Excellent.
Open.
So
Shut.
so how do we pronounce the adjective? Close.
Close.
Yeah.
It's the C sound. The chair was so close, close, C sound to the door. We couldn't close. This is Z sound. Okay. Have you got the idea what a heteronym is? Two words in English
yes.
have the same spelling but different pronunciation and of course different meaning. We have another example. I want you to think and try reading this sentence. But please raise your hand if you know the answer to give you colleague? What is that?
Yes, here we have the word present, which is an adjective, and
excellent
means that the opposite of absent. The second one means a gift. It's a synonym of a gift.
Excellent. How can you say the sentence? Say it.
Don't just give the gift. Present, the present.
Have you pronounced them the same? Are they the same pronunciation?
I think maybe the difference is in the stress.
Excellent. Can you say the stress? Don't give the gift. Present the present. Present the verb.
The present.
Yes.
Present
when you give something to someone, you present it. So don't say present the present. It's present the present. Present. It's the accent, just like you said. Okay. Would you like to try another example? Be careful of this one because it's tricky.
Yes, here where someone is sad, we can see tears on his face.
Okay, but
the second
do we have other volunteers?
Here,
just a
maybe
minute.
a whole.
Just a minute. What's okay? What's your name? What's your name? Okay, could you give them just a short time to think and participate? Thank you. Do we have any other participants? Anybody wants to share? Abrar, are you raising your hand?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
So she shed a tear because she had a tear in her shirt.
How the two words are different, Abrar?
She shed a tear because she had a tear. Oh, she shed a tear because the tear is the one that comes up from our eyes, and the tear in the second one is the something in the shirt, a cut in the shirt. So she shed a tear because she had a tear in her shirt.
Okay, excellent. Have you noticed what Abrar said? The first one is tear, the second one is tear. Tear. She shed a tear because she had a tear in her shirt. So when somebody's weeping and drops of water comes out of their eyes, it's called tears. She shed a tear because she had a tear. Tear means a cut, just like Abrar said. Excellent, Abrar. Excellent. Okay, the next activity is tongue twisters. Okay, have you heard about tongue twisters? What are tongue twisters?
Repetition of the same sound words.
Excellent.
Tongue twister.
Yes, and what is the idea behind using tongue twisters in encouraging learners to speak?
The difference between the phonetics, sir, the pronunciation, like sir, sure.
Excellent. So tongue twisters is using similar sounds in a sentence repeatedly in order to help students to differentiate between the different sounds and also to practice saying them again and again. Tongue twisters are fun because young learners love repeating words that are rhyming together. You know, there is music in the words. Okay? Do we know all tongue twisters now? Can you give me an example of tongue twisters in Arabic?
Yeah.
In Arabic.
How much would, may I say, sir? How
In
much
Arabic,
would a
yes.
woodchuck chuck? If a woodchuck, then how much would a woodchuck chuck?
I mean in Arabic. Do you speak Arabic or other languages? What is your first language?
This is English, sir. Actually, we have done it in our school days.
I know.
I had done it in my
Yes, I
school
know.
days.
I
That's
know
why
it's.
I remember at the
I know
time.
it's.
So I share with you. Yeah, sir.
Yes, I know. I know it's English, but I'm asking you about your first language. What is your mother language?
Yeah, Hindi, sir. Hindi.
Hindi. Can you
I'm
give an
Indian. Yeah,
example of Hindi? Yes. Can you give me an example of Hindi tongue
sure,
twisters?
sure. Yeah. Uh,
Okay,
Chanda
go ahead.
chamke cham cham, chikhe cho kanna
Mm-hmm.
chor, cheat chate chini, chatori chini khor.
Have you understood anything? Of course not. Only
Yes,
only Indians can
yes.
understand this. But thank you for this. Uh, we need
Thank you.
another example of Arabic language. If it can give me an example of tongue twisters in Arabic.
Can give you an Arabic example.
Okay.
Yes. أرنبنا في منور أنور وأرنب أنور في منورنا.
Yes. أرنبنا في منور أنور وأرنب أنور في منورنا. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. It's okay.
Where are the Arabic speakers? Can you repeat this? أرنبنا في منور أنور وأرنب أنور
Can I share?
في منورنا. Okay.
وقبر حرب بمكان قفر وليس قرب قبر حرب قبر.
Oh, that's great. It's very difficult. قبر حرب في مكان
أمير
قفر
الأمراء.
وليس جنب قبر
بمكان
قبر.
قفر
أمر أمير
وزكى
الأمراء
جلود
بحفر بئر في الصحراء.
أمر أمير الأمراء بحفر بئر في الصحراء. Okay, excellent. Let's have some English examples. Have you tried the tongue twisters Peter Piper? I want you to read it slowly first and then speed up. Okay? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Did Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled peppers? If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where is the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Can you say it?
Can I? Yes.
I want you to
Peter
read it
Piper.
slowly at first, okay? Slowly.
Okay.
Peter Piper. Peter Piper picked
Peter.
a peck of pickled peppers. Did Peter
Yes.
Piper pick a peck of picked peppers? If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where is the peck of pickled? This much I seen in the
Excellent.
screen,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Somebody else.
Peter Piper. Peter Piper. Packet a bucket of the bucket papers. Did Peter Piper back a bucket of a bucket papers? If Peter Piper bucket a bit of the bucket papers, where's the big of the bucket papers? Peter Piper bucket.
Thank you. I want you to focus on how the p sound is produced. Peter, Peter, Peter Piper. Have
Peter.
you noticed how
Yes.
the p sound is repeated? So please don't say beta, say Peter.
Peter.
Peter Piper
Peter.
picked. Okay?
Yes.
Peter Piper
Okay.
picked a peck of pickled peppers. Did Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers? If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where is the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Okay? If you need to train your students in using the sound p in a context like this, that would be great. You will have a lot of tongue twisters that help you encourage your learners to speak English. They will like it. I think it would be fun. Do you agree with me or not?
Yes, surely. I use it sometimes with my students and they are interested in it. like me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Another one is called she sells seashells. It is
Yes, this
somehow
one I tried it. I tried it with my students.
okay. How can you read it? Say it slowly at the
She sells
beginning.
seashells. She sells seashells. She sells seashells by the seashore. The seashells she sells are seashells, I'm sure. So if she sells seashells by the seashore, then I'm sure she sells seashore shells.
Excellent. Thank you. Excellent. I'm going to read it slowly in order to help you. And the same thing you are going to do with your students. She sells seashells by the seashore. The seashells she sells are seashells, I'm sure. So, if she sells seashells by the seashore, then I'm sure she sells seashore shells. Who wants to practice? Any volunteer, please don't hesitate. Take the mic and say it. Whether it is right or wrong, it's okay because we are training. This is a training session. So we have only Abrar. Where are the others? We need more volunteers. Okay. And Petra.
But I
Okay.
can see, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. She sells seashells by the seashore. The seashells she
Excellent.
sells are seashells, I'm sure. So if she sells seashells by the seashore, then I'm sure she sells seashore shells.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else? Abrar?
Yes. She sells
Go ahead.
seashore by the sea. By no, let me try again. She sells seashells by the seashores. The seashell are she sell are she. Yeah. It's so confusing.
You know,
Okay, let me try
you are,
one more.
yeah, you
Let
are
me try one more
struggling.
time.
You know,
Yeah.
Abrar,
Yeah.
it's a good opportunity because when we teach young learners, we need to be patient because
Yeah.
they
Exactly.
get confused just like we do now. So we need to practice a lot. She
Yes.
sells
She
seashells.
sells seashells by the seashore. The seashells she sells are seashore seashells, I'm sure. So if she sells seashells by the seashore, then I'm sure she sells seashore shells.
Oh my God! Excellent, excellent. That's great.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Um, and another important activity is to show the students or the learners of English how the sounds are similar or different in teaching them minimal pairs, for example, for example, the sounds and z. I wanted to ask you, what is the relationship between the s sound and the snake?
The sah sound is like the
Shape.
snake voice, hissing.
Yes, excellent. When snakes produce sound, they hissing, and hissing is making the sound like so.
And
The
the shape
picture here
of
shows,
S like the snake,
and also the
curved
shape
like a
of the
snake.
snake looks like the same way the S letter is written. Okay, and the word
Yeah.
snake starts with the letter S. And what is the relationship between the Z sound and the B?
Zzz.
Oh, yes. Also, the
Excellent,
bee is
excellent.
producing this sound
Yes. So
when they are
if you
flying.
are teaching young learners, make them see the image or the picture and the sound because they will get connected. Zzz, just like the sound produced by bees. Okay. Uh, do you know what are the sibling sounds in English? In English, we have some sounds called sibilant sounds. Can you see the word sibilant?
Sibilant.
Yes, sibilant sounds are sounds in English that make they produce whisper or hissing when we say them. So they call them sibilant. Have you studied Quran and Tajweed before?
Yes.
If you know
Yes,
about
I
Tajweed or reciting the Holy
yes.
Quran, there are some sounds in Arabic language which are called aswat as-safir, because when we produce these sounds, we we make a sound just like a scene was sawed. Okay, okay, they call it sibilant. How many sibilant sounds in English do we have? We have s, z, j, sh, ch. There are 6 sounds. Can you see them?
Yes.
Can you see?
Yes.
And the other way
Yes.
here we have z. Here we have this. This symbol represents the sound j, j. Okay. When we say the word treasure, treasure, j, j, treasure. Okay. And j sounds. For example, when we say the word wage, hedge, sage, judge, okay, jacket, ja sound, ja, and sh, we know the sh always say sh, and when we have the ch sound with the sh, we say ch, 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 okay. I want you to remember these 6 sounds because we are going to play a good activity or a game. When we have the sound s or the letter s in some words, do we always produce the sound the same way each time? When we see, when we have the word ce, for example, we say, do we pronounce it fleece or fleas? Here we have fleece or fleas. Can you think about
The first one, fleece. The second, fleas.
it? Yeah. Excellent. And what we call words that are similar in all sounds except one. When we have 2 words like fleece and fleas, they are identically pronounced the same except for the last sound z. We call them minimal pairs. Minimal pairs. So minimal pairs are 2 words that are similar in pronunciation except for one sound. Okay? Who can read the second example?
Lies.
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 Excellent.
Lies.
Have you noticed the
Lies.
difference? Here we say
Yes.
lies. Here we
Oh,
say
it's
lies. So
Yeah.
if you are talking, if you are speaking with native speakers and you cannot differentiate between the sound s and z, this can change the meaning. Okay? And the same thing happens here with the word gross and grows. Can you see that? How can we say this word?
Gross.
Gross. And this one?
Grow.
Grows.
Gross.
Here, that one is dice.
Lies.
This one is
Lies.
thighs. And this word is muscle.
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 This one is
Muzzle.
Muzzle.
muzzle. Muscle.
Muzzle.
Muzzle. Muscle. Muzzle. So you need to train yourself and train your students in using minimal pairs. Can I ask you a question? What is a minimal pair? I want you to share me. What is the definition of minimal pair? I want someone to share us.
They are typical in
Mhm.
pronunciation, except the last syllable.
It's not necessarily the last one. They are typical in pronunciation except for one sound. This could be the first or the middle or the last one, but there is only one sound that is different. Okay? I want you to look at the word face and the word phase. Face. Phase.
Face.
Have you noticed the difference? Can you see the
Phase, yeah.
difference here? The word
The
loose
first loose sound.
and lose, loose, lose, noose, news, noose, news, sauce, sows, juice, and juice.
Juice.
Okay, so please give attention to minimal pairs. And if you Google the internet, you will find whole lots of minimal pairs with different sounds. Here I'm giving you an example of the se and ze, but there are many other minimal pairs. You can teach your students how to produce them. Would you like to try?
Yes.
Can you see these words? I want you to, in 2 minutes, classify these words into two main categories. Which one ends with s and which one ends with z? And if you have the whole words in 2 minutes and they are all correct, you will have a prize. You can have a sheet of paper. If you have a sheet of paper, just write them into columns, one for s, one for z. You have 2 minutes, okay?
Yes, and please let's stop till here, and
Just
we
a
will,
minute, just a
inshallah,
minute.
continue in another session because it is amazing and there are nice activities. So we will invite you another time, inshallah, to complete this thing. Okay?
Okay. Are we done? Are we done now?
Thank you. Yes,
Have we
thank
finished?
you.
Our time has finished, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I would like to stop here, inshallah, and we'll have another sessions to talk about
Yes.
how important the topic of pronunciation is.
Yes.
Do you have any questions,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen? Any questions?
Yes, please. If there is any question,
Thanks for your effort. Yes, you
we
have a
am.
good job.
Thanks.
We enjoyed a
Yes.
lot.
I want to say only thank you. Thank you so much for wonderful
Thank you so much,
session.
teacher.
It's a wonderful evening for me. Thank you so much, sir. I want to connect you
It
again
is
when you're going to
I
take.
thank
Yes,
Yeah.
wait
it's
us, wait us.
activity
We will.
days.
you.
Thank you.
Beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you very much.
You are all welcome. I have been so happy being with you. Thank you for having me, and see you next time.
Yeah, me
Yes,
Bye.
too.
before
Waiting for you.
leaving, Mr.
Yes.
Mustafa,
Yes.
we want to grant you this appreciation certificate from the Arab English
Thank you.
Teachers Association, AETA. We are so honored. From me also, Shawqia Hawawre from Palestine, the president of this
Thank you.
association. We are so honored to award
I
this certificate for Mr. Mostafa Zaki from Egypt in recognition of his outstanding contributions and delivering this lecture, which was titled Let's Talk English Fluently. Thank you very much and congratulations for this
Thank you.
certificate and for the success
Thank
for
you.
this
Thank you.
presentation. It was really fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, I won't forget to thank all our participants and attendees from all over the world. Thank you very much.
Yes, I thank.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Mr.
much.
Mustafa.
I thank you.
Yes.
You are welcome.
Now, if there is any question, you can ask Mr. Mustafa before leaving.
Mr. Mustafa, please, I want to ask you one question.
Yes.
Which
Go ahead.
which you I can do this with my student? Which time on the first session or after the uh, uh, after 2 weeks before the examination?
Okay, I think it all depends on what type of students do you have. Are they young or they are adults? Are they are
No,
beginners or intermediate
beginners.
or they are advancing?
Yes,
Okay, so if
yes,
they are beginners, you need to
yes,
adapt the activities in order to suit and be helpful for them, because when they are young, they might not understand what you want them to do. So it's very important for us as a teacher to decide, is this activity will be helpful to my students at that age? They are beginners. So I need to make it simpler. I need to make it easier. Okay, I think
yeah,
tongue twisters would be amazing for young learners because they love listening to music and repeating rhythm. You know, when they listen to
yes,
words, Peter Piper picked a pickle of they like to repeat it and sing it over and over again. Okay,
yes.
so you are the queen of the ring. You are the person who choose which activity and what adaptation could be made to make it more successful, I think.
Thank you. I use it, the recorder and the music, but some days I take it